Welcome to this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. I'm your host, founder of Voices for Voices, Justin Allen Hayes. Thank you so much for joining us. We encourage you to check out our catalog of over 300 episodes of our podcast, whether you view them on video means or whether you do audio. Voices for Voices, we'd be thrilled for you to join, to subscribe, to share, to like, to comment, all those free things that you can do to help support us, our mission in wanting to help 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. And it's incredible that we hit the milestone of 300 total episodes, both in studio, out of studio episodes. To combine them is just really incredible. Having some time to take a step back and just appreciate what we've done and what we're doing, and I think that's healthy for all of us. And what we do is to make sure that we take a step back from time to time and look at things that we did, that we accomplished, that we helped somebody or somebody's. And one of those things, all those things really come back to our mind and how our mind helps us process information and prioritize what our brain thinks we should do first, second, third, fourth, or we can make a list, and that can kind of help us, and then we can deviate from that a little bit if we need to. And I bring this up because one of our recent episodes, number 306, is titled "Brains Aren't Robots: A Candid Talk About Mental Health." And so that particular episode, I dive really deep into my mental health and how we have limited capacity, like our phones, like our tablets, really anything. There's this capacity. If you have a car that runs on gas, you have a gas tank, and so the capacity would be we can't put any more gas in than how much holds, how much that the gas tank actually holds. If it holds 15 gallons, you can't put 16 gallons in. It's going to start coming out the spout, and so that's that capacity. So we all have that. Sometimes it's easier to identify, and sometimes it's not, and that's really okay. Don't let anybody tell you or insinuate, or if they're not ready to buy in to help, like they're going to help you, let's say, find a therapist or find a psychiatrist or find a general practitioner doctor, or whatever those ors and ands are. If the individuals are actually going to help, and it doesn't mean that they have to pay for the things, but if they're actually going to step in and help, then that's somebody that we want to have in our orbit, that's around us, that we're able to, trust and know that this person's not, a toxic person. They're not, stealing our time away from what we could be using to help us create something, to work on something, to start something, whether that's fill out paperwork or whether that's coming on TV for an interview or a podcast episode. So yeah, we'd encourage you. 300 episodes. We're finding out that's in the total amount of podcasts are out there. It's pretty rare. There's a lot of podcasts out there that have over 300 episodes. But just if we look in general, I like the big picture. And so I just want to say, if we can do it, you can do it. If that's something you want to do, or if it's something different. If you want to do painting, and what I found is I can't remember which particular platform, but Bob Ross. So Bob Ross has passed away, but he was on public broadcasting in the 80s, and I'm not sure if it went into the 90s. I just know from the one episode that I saw that at the end it'll have like the credits of who the producer is and those things. It said 1982, Muncie, Indiana, and so 1982 was a long time ago. I was born in 1981, so I would have been 1 year old when this particular show that I was watching the other day. And so who's Bob Ross? So he was an artist, and what he would do, I don't want to say it's groundbreaking, but it kind of was. It was groundbreaking because nobody had done it before that we knew of and we know of. And so what would he do? Would he have some special effects and flashing lights and things like that on the show? Like, no. What he'd have a canvas, an easel holding it up. He'd have a palette, and he'd have different color paints, and then he would have a cup of paint thinner, and so that he had very limited things. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't something that was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? And what did he do? He started again every show with a blank canvas, and over the course of, I think it was kind of like what we strive for is to be right around 30 minutes or so for the episode. So within that period of time, Bob Ross would go from blank canvas, and he'd go through all the different brushes, all different colors, and he would end the show with a painting that was complete. And it's just really incredible at the time. But I'm finding now, because I'm have been in kind of this mental overload phase or stage for a little bit, and so right, we have our coping mechanisms, things that help us like take our mind off of, like, Justin, don't worry about that so much. Like, let's go over here and do this, or let's go and do that. And one of the things I did was I was searching on a different way. So, like, let's say you have I don't want to make plugs for organizations, but let's say you view a show at a certain time or a certain day, or you have them all together where you can watch episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so I stepped out of my comfort zone, and I looked in an area that I hadn't really looked before. And the other thing about Bob Ross is, if you see a picture, he has this huge like afro, and his hair is just like super long, and it almost looks like a wig in a sense. But so that was kind of like his distinguishing features when you're scrolling and looking through. Not only does it say Bob Ross, I don't know if it's the art of painting or what the actual the tagline is for it. But on the cover, so like when we have our episodes, we have the cover of the episode, and on the cover of his episodes, he has there's a picture of him. Usually, you might be able to see the palette, maybe a paintbrush, and you might be able to see part of a painting. And then there's the title. Then there's the description of a winter wonderland, or whatever that painting is going to be. And so again, that is something that is, I remember when I was younger, I would watch from time to time. But again, when me talking about my mind's on overload, I'm looking for things that I'm able to kind of decompress and not have to pay attention to the whole thing. So Bob Ross and his painting show, I'm able to put that on and watch and listen. He has a really calm and soothing voice too. It's not like an in-your-face, like some car commercials and others where you're watching a show or you're watching a movie and then an advertisement comes up and it's just way louder. So then you kind of turn the volume down, and then when the movie or the show restarts, you move the volume up. With Bob, it was just a consistent, very just very straightforward, just an easy to listen to. He wasn't saying you got to do this, you got to do that. He was just going through kind of a DIY, like a do-it-yourself. Like, here's how you do it. He's like, you can use this brush, and he goes through at the very beginning, which is where I started his very first show, and he talks about all the different pieces of, well, here's you're going to want to find a very sturdy easel, and you're going to want to find a canvas like this, and you're going to want to find, and so he goes through like all the things that a person would need, and okay, we're going to mix it, these 3 colors, and here's how we're going to do it, and then here's how you with the brush on the canvas, and so that, for some reason, it's soothing for me to have something that's, again, calm. It's not in your face. It's creative. It's watching something that is blank turn into to something at the end of the show where it's like, oh, like this is a finished product. And so I recommend, encourage, at least read about Bob Ross, maybe check an episode or a clip, and maybe that'll help you. That's something that's new that helped me. I mean, yes, it's on a screen, but however, it's not news or other things where it's just so loud. Like a lot of these videos that are out there are kind of, not kind of, they are, they have families and they're going through like their day-to-day lives, and then they're doing these challenges and all these, and it's just so loud, like it, and that's part of where on the autism spectrum, sounds and are one of the big things that are very bothersome, and so when my daughter watches, and we're trying to find other more productive things for her when she does have the privilege of watching on a screen, that it's not those, because not just it bothers me, but her as a 6.5-year-old, it's going into her mind and thinking, oh, well, when I go to the store, I'm just going to go buy, we're going to buy everything. Like, well, so-and-so does it in their show. And so I'm trying to share that, I'll say back in the day. So back in the day, 20 years ago or so, longer, there would be, a TV show, a sitcom, a movie, and there would be like product placement of like, it's on the table, there might be a particular product, and then the camera may not zoom in on the product, but one of the characters may be consuming it, or maybe using it in some form or fashion. And so that's how that's, what they call like that's an element of advertising. Well, with a lot of these, I say almost all of them that I'm aware of, these families, these individuals, I mean, they're just want to be entrepreneurs. But what I try to share to my daughter is these people are being paid, that when they have a shopping spree wherever, or they're having a challenge and they gotta do these 10 things, and then they might win $1,000, or they might win a trip, or they might win whatever, that those companies are paying, whether either monetarily, money, or getting that product for free. So what do I mean by that? Let's say a trip. One of the shows is about challenges that have to be done, and there's 10 things, and whoever does the most out of 10 wins a trip to Hawaii. I don't know, just throwing it out there. Well, there's a reason Hawaii is said. The trip to Hawaii is more than likely already paid for, so it's not like the family or whoever's in the particular show, it's not like they're ones shelling out the money to do that. Whereas in normal America, normal anywhere, not just in America, just normal everyday living, it to be able to go on a trip, somewhere like Hawaii or some exotic location or a theme park, what have you, those types of things cost money. And when there's a show back to back to back to back with, oh, win a trip to this, oh, we're going to shut down the water park and we have time to do this, oh, we're going to build, a secret room, and we're going to try not, we're going to try not to let this other person know where it's at, and if they find it, and then, they win some prize. And so it really just goes back to marketing and advertising. So these organizations, they've found, obviously, right, that a lot of the way we consume information now is through a screen, whether it's a phone, whether it's a TV, whether it's a laptop, netbook, iPad, you name it. The way the information is consumed is digital, and so it's not always that the person or persons is sitting in front of the TV. That they could be on a trip, they might be on a plane, they might be on a train, they might be on the bus. It could be various things and reasons why or where the consumption of information is, and that includes shows, and so it doesn't have to be on a network station for the same tactics to being used, the product placement. So just as a certain product, a certain brand on a shirt, maybe on a hat, just like those are placed into movies and really any type of show, they're also being put into, because of the demand, these they're like reality shows is really what they are. Really is an offshoot of the Kardashians and those. And I'm not condoning any of that, but just from a reality standpoint, that type of a show, as well as there's so many others we can go through, that really opened the door to more use of the devices, of screens, of being mobile, so not being in one place for a lot of time, and so that's something I'm trying to share. And right, so my daughter's 6.5. She's not 18. She's not older. So I have to like recalibrate my mind that I'm talking to a 6.5-year-old. And one of the things she cares about is just watching these shows, and I and my wife, we try to say like, hey, this isn't, yeah, they're going to this store and they're buying all these dresses, and then they have all these things that they're doing, and we're gonna turn our house into a 5-star resort, and so we have to do all these things. So then we have to go to the store and we buy this supply and that supply. Well, guess what? All that's product placement and advertising. So this episode is heavily on kind of that, it's like workforce, but that just branding. So branding of the individual, and then the branding of the organization. So the organization, so a former organization I used to work for was had a product placement in a show that's on one of the popular streaming apps, and you can watch on the phone or on the go or at your convenience. And I saw that, and the way the product was, it was a children's product, and the scene was the actor, but it was a really young actor, so like almost like a, I don't know, 2 or 3-year-old using the product in that particular scene. And you could see the logo of the organization. And so that, again, that's what we're talking about with product placement. And I think that's very important, that if you haven't noticed that or realized that yeah, these are real people. I've even done research that shows that, right, some of these shows, they have families, and so they say, okay, here's the husband, here's the wife, here's the daughter and the 2 sons, and so they interact throughout the show, but not all of them are actually families in real life. They're a mom from maybe one family, a dad from another family, or maybe the mom and dad are from the same family, but then there's other actors, actresses, other members that come together. So it's basically, it's a cast, right? So when you're putting together a TV show or any type of thing, you want to think like, okay, who do I want in this? So for instance, our show, it's either, well, we're going to do an interview in person with 1 or 2 guests, or we're going to do one electronically on Zoom, or I'm going to do a solo episode like this. And so I want to say my cast, but my cast really is show to show. It could be just me. It could be me in the TV studio for our TV portion of our show that is then also leveraged into podcasts. We can watch it other areas if you miss it on Hudson Community Television, on the app, or on your Spectrum Western Reserve station. And so that's how kind of the cast is for me. It's like, oh, well, this show we're going to have 2 guests in person. So the cast, so who's in that show would be the 2 guests, what their names are, and then myself. And so it's the same thing when you're talking about a TV show, a movie, any type of production like that. There's a cast, And so getting back to the family aspect of, well, not all of the, again, not all of what's depicted is real. Number one, the products are being given to them, the product place. And I know that's real because I worked at an organization, and that organization, again, got their product into a popular TV show, which I just referenced, and I'm not gonna say the company, but I saw that, and I was aware of, and influencers, and that's where a lot of budget, a lot of money is being spent, versus kind of that traditional media, like newspapers and magazines, and those are all either gone digital, some have gone out of business, and influencers and these shows that are like, again, these sensational shows where it looks like a family. Sometimes it is a family off camera, and sometimes it's not. So I'm trying to share with my daughter that this is, let's say, she likes to watch Bluey, and so there's a cast, right? So there's, the mom, the dad, Bingo, the sister, and Bluey, and then other members that are, come in, from show to show. And so I'm trying to explain that these other shows that you're watching are like Bluey. These people they may be part of the family, part of the same family off camera, but sometimes, and again, there's research that proves this out, so this isn't me just spouting off, where people are put together to look like a family, just like they would be in a movie or a TV show or any other production of, oh, okay, well, we want, the mom to have this look, and the dad to have this look, and the children to have this look and that, and so nothing's different. The only thing that's different is you're watching it on a streaming platform that isn't on cable, and it's a kind of DIY where they have the camera, and they're they're moving around, and they're doing these things, and again, it's loud, usually louder, at least what I've noticed, and so that's very bothersome to me, just from that standpoint with the autism where I'm at on that side of the spectrum. But then I don't want my daughter growing up thinking like, oh, all this is real, because we're even noticing like some of her friends where that they're thinking that's real, like, oh, well, every time I go to the store I get to buy something, and then, oh, I want to buy all these earrings, or I want to buy all these toys, and well, so and so gets to do it on the blah blah blah, say blah blah blah. Sorry, the so and so does it on their show, and so we try to say, well, they're getting paid, they're being given these products for free, these trips are being donated, and again, sometimes the families are not family off camera. And so we just want to kind of share this as kind of public safety, public health, not only for me and my family, my daughter, but for you, your family, nephews, nieces. And so thank you for being with us on this show, Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. Have a great day.